The shoppers who start researching Christmas earliest are also the ones who end up spending the most overall. That changes the entire logic of how you should be building towards your peak season. Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan. I'm Catherine Erdley, and this podcast is here to share retail industry trends, insights, and best practices for you, the retailer who's serious about building something that lasts. Hannah Bartlett has spent years mapping Christmas trends back to the emotional needs and cultural shifts that create them, and what that means for what will sell. She's the founder of Jolly Festive Christmas Inspirations, as well as the Christmas Insider, and also the creator of the Christmas Trends Playbook for 2026, built specifically for independent retailers and small product businesses. Her forecasting draws on research from everyone from Mintel to PwC, as well as constantly scanning shows and shops to understand what's hot now, what's coming next. She's distilled that analysis into 6 emotional needs driving how people will want to celebrate this year. In this conversation, there are 3 things you can take away. You'll understand why 60% of shoppers are already researching Christmas right now, but won't actually buy until November, and why that window is your opportunity, not your problem. You'll hear the 4 distinct aesthetic directions that will dominate Christmas 2026 retail, with enough specificity to know which one fits your brand. And you'll get a clear framework for choosing your Christmas direction based on what your customers actually need, not on what everyone else seems to be doing.
We've kind of seen a little bit of a reversal of Christmas creep, shall we say, and that's certainly what Mintel reported at the end of last year. I think you're right, though. The people who are spending early, it is being driven by budget. They want to spread out the cost, but they are also, interestingly, the ones who spend the most on the whole. So the earlier someone starts the whole, generally, the more they will invest in the season. Black Friday is having a huge impact on when we are actually going to spend the money. I think people are holding off to see what deals are going to come. So they want to know what they're going to buy. They want to be ready. They want to have done all the research on which products are going to resonate and where they can get the best value for money. And then they won't actually press that purchase button until they know what deals are going to be available. And fundamentally, that means Black Friday for most people. And I think we're actually seeing, I think it's 60% of people now are holding off until November or later to do their Christmas shopping. So the research starts early. People want to invest the time in making sure that they are clear what the purpose of the product is, what the provenance of the product is, and how it's going to be right for their purchaser, for their gift, the person they're gifting to, but they're not actually going to press go until much, much later and nearer Christmas.
Hannah's analysis confirms something I've long believed. The retailers who win Christmas aren't the ones who chase trends. They're the ones who understand which emotional need they're already built to meet. The research window and purchase window are 2 different jobs. Most retailers treat them as one, and that's the mistake. If 60% of shoppers are forming their Christmas shortlist right now and holding off the actual purchase until November, you need to be in their research phase, not just their buying phase. And to be in their research phase, you need to understand what is driving that research. Hannah's answer isn't about aesthetics, it's about something more fundamental.
I totally geek out on this side of trends, so you're going to have to stop me here, Catherine, because I will waffle. But I'm so passionate about the kind of the pieces of the puzzle and how they all fit together. Easily perceived as frivolous kind of visuals actually are fundamentally a layered visual representation of emotions and needs that we have. And those needs, they move slowly. They're not fads. They're not kind of fleeting representations. They're really fundamental requirements that we have at this moment in time. So they underpin exactly how we want to celebrate Christmas. And we think of it as the unchanging thing in the year, but actually it evolves and it's kind of like a mirror to how we've experienced the year. We then hold Christmas up to experience it in the same way. So the trends completely relate to how we want to gather, celebrate, gift, decorate, the whole shebang. And I kind of spend a lot of time wheeling it down to 6 key emotional needs that we have from the season, and the aesthetics and the sensory experiences beyond that, the story and the narrative, they all feed from that. So I imagine that nostalgia will not be a shock to anyone. As we've already said, Christmas is that storytelling time of year. It's the nostalgic time of year. And when the world feels scary, when life feels difficult, it is so much easier to look back than look forward. And so that's exactly what we're doing. And we're seeing it across the board, no time more than at Christmas. So you can expect those absolute classic Christmas vibes to be coming through loud and strong this year. But we're also, as we mentioned before, seeing that kind of whimsical side of people just wanting fun for fun's sake because life feels heavy. So we just want those opportunities to play, to be kidults, to just escape from the day-to-day grind and enjoy colour, enjoy celebration, enjoy joy. And so we're really seeing a real playful tone coming through as well in our celebrations and what we want out of the season. And hand in hand with that is that romanticization, so the enchantment side. So really being whisked away to other worlds and something that feels a bit magical. I kind of think, we had the Magic Faraway Tree came out, one of my favourite childhood books. And I think we're all living in a world where Moonface and the slippery slip exists. So,
The more turbulent it gets, the more we have nostalgia.
oh, 100%, without doubt. That absolutely is. The harder life gets, the more we want to escape it. The harder it gets to finance the big stuff, the more we invest in the little treats. It's the lipstick effect again. No, 100%. We are absolutely seeing that. Absolutely, 100%. But we also are seeing this kind of other movement that's coming along as well of wanting to just uncomplicate things. Christmas got very complicated. The Instagram effect of everyone wanting the perfect Christmas so that they could showcase it for public consumption. We kind of lost our way a little bit with that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a real recognition of that and reversal to that simplification back to basics. We want I say it's the childhood Christmas. I mean, very few of us were blessed to have such a childhood Christmas. It's the rose-tinted childhood Christmas. So one of the other emotional drivers that we're seeing coming through or macro trends is nourish and comfort and just decomplicating things. I would uncomplicating the celebrations. So that kind of, I guess, making paper chains in the kitchen and baking cookies together and very much that kind of the whimsical version of the Little Women Christmas.
Right.
So it's all coming through last year.
The emotional needs Hannah describes don't shift dramatically from year to year. What changes is how urgent each one feels. Nostalgia was always part of Christmas. Wanting to uncomplicate things was always there. What's different in 2026 is the intensity of those feelings, because the backdrop of people's lives is more pressured. For independent retailers, that's not just context, it's direction. Understand which of these emotional needs your customers bring to Christmas, and you have your answer.
We're seeing more and more that people are unapologetically celebrating Christmas the way they want to celebrate it. And I never, ever want to give the impression that there's only these ways of celebrating, because there is no right and wrong with this season. But it's absolutely about finding the alignment with what works, the kind of the balance of those emotional drivers for your audience, for your customer base. But yes, without doubt, we will see certain things more and more as we head that way. So nostalgia, I guess we're going to see a heck of a lot of a heritage classical Christmas. So Nancy Myers meets Ralph Lauren meets Charles Dickens, somewhere in that mix.
A lot of cartoon is what I'm hearing.
Yes, exactly. Yes. If those three walked into a pub, we would get red, green, gold, and blue. And blue will be a theme that you see coming through. I think without trying to sound macabre, it will be a blue Christmas this year. All those classics. So we've got teddies. Teddies are coming through because they satisfy that nostalgic urge for comfort, reassurance that we're looking for. Nutcrackers, rocking horses. Horses, in fact, are having a bit of a resurgence, both in the carousel form and in the rocking horse.
Well, it's the year of the horse.
I think that's going to be the dominant vibe that we see. We saw the Ralph Lauren Christmas trending last year, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to be back with us, but it's going to be even more this year, I would say. Then we also saw, and I mentioned previously as well, the Little Women Christmas coming in last year, which was kind of the sister to Ralph Lauren, shall we say, where it's that much more kind of round the family table. You've got your gingham, you've got your ruffles, you've got your lace and doilies. Do you remember doilies?
Yes.
Oh, they're coming back. It's like the granny chic, coastal granny chic, kind of still that Nancy Myers ginger jar kind of vibe. There's lots of cocooning, kind of just relaxed, craft-led paper chains, homemade dried orange slices. It's a beautiful, kind of charming vibe and aesthetic. And I think that's going to be incredibly popular, particularly works well with independent retailers and smaller product businesses because it absolutely leans into the fundamental ethos and brand values anyway. So that's going to be a really fun one to play with. Then we've got Christmas threw up in your living room, 19th Christmas, tinsel extravaganza, all the colours, all the bold character, bold stripes, harlequin, checkerboard, circus vibe, if you will. That's going to be coming in as well. It's that kind of just fun for fun's sake. Frivolous, engaging, theatrical, oversized, plays on proportion. It's going to be in your face. You cannot avoid it. Just full on celebration.
I love
that
it.
one's through as well. Absolutely. I think that's going to be great.
A former client called it Screaming Christmas, which I always love.
And then we can take that to a slightly more mature vibe. So we can go more theatrical, more romantic. But we're seeing quite a lot of quite sort of immersive, luxurious Christmases this year, I think. So we're going to see quite a kind of a Grecian, shall we say, Roman, or a Bridgerton, Regency, this kind of really kind of opulent romance with loads of pearls and fruit and frosted designs and crystal drops and velvet. And you can really go to town with that. You could take it to an enchanted forest. You could take it to an afternoon tea. You could take it to a massive ballroom. You could have real fun with the real kind of immersive sensory experience of that visual, and loads of lush florals as well. I pick and choose little bits, but we are the classic kind of. It's a cacophony of collected celebration decorations and ornaments, and I think that kind of collected rather than curated. Certainly at a personal level, I think we're going to see a lot of. If you're talking about the kind of the visual merchandising, then obviously bigger kind of stories and immersion experiences are more relevant. And I think it's fair also just to mention then we will have, because for every trend there is the anti-trend. And as I say, there is that kind of slow living, kind of simple Christmas vibe coming through. But as I say, even that isn't that kind of fully Scandi, fully matted vibe coming through this year. There's going to be a beautiful colour palette of a blue-brown. We've seen blue and brown a lot. And that Cloud Dancer, I know it's controversial, Pantone colour coming through. A really lovely kind of either caramel and powder blue, or that kind of navy and chocolate with the Cloud Dancer in the mix. For quite a kind of a modern version of quite a heritage style. And I think that cocooning, Nancy Myers, but the coastal version experience with that one, or a green with gold and touches of brown kind of vibe. But both of them will be quite simple, quite pared back, very carefully, thoughtfully collected ornaments that are decorating, really sensory on sort of playing with the kind of the scent and the sound and the kind of the tactile materials. There is real thought and heirloom pieces and elevation in there, but it's in a very sort of understated way, kind of chic living, lived in chic.
4 distinct aesthetic directions, and if you're placing your Christmas wholesale orders right now, Hannah's framework gives you a different lens for those buying decisions. Each aesthetic is the visual expression of a specific emotional need, not just a style. That's a positioning decision, not a decorating one. And independent retailers have a genuine advantage here because the right direction for your business isn't whichever one looks best in general. It's the one that already feels like you. If you're sourcing from independent brands right now, Faire is a great place to discover them. Find thousands of brands at www.faire.com.
Yes, absolutely. How do we choose? Because they all sound fabulous in their own way, or terrifying, whichever version you'd like. But okay, well, let's think about what are trends there to do. Trends have, in my opinion, 3 purposes. They are discoverability, they are memorability, or they help you with, discoverability, memorability, and purchasability. So discoverability, using the narratives that matter right now, helps us to be found. Keywords, telling the stories that people want to hear that are resonating. That's how we get that. So discoverability. Number 2 is memorability. It is getting that emotional connection. So a feeling, not just a look, and really leaning into what sticks in the mind. We know that those storytelling narratives and visual cues that hit an emotion are stickier in the mind than the ones that just look nice.
Right.
So memorability, and then purchasability. You are then an intuitive purchase. It's instinctive to buy you because you're telling the stories that matter right now, that mean something right now. You are hitting us and meeting us where we need you. So that's the purpose of the trends. And I think as long as you keep that in mind and think about the kind of the balance of emotions that you're pulling on, that you know that your audience need from you at this time of year, that your customers want, then you will find that you naturally fit with one or other of the trends. Or you're a mixture, right? These are not meant to be carbon footprints. They're meant to be inspirational. So you take from it what works for you and you evolve it. When you hit upon the right balance, you'll know, and that will be the right vibe for you. And you can test it. Why not pick the segment of your newsletter that you know are particularly festive enthusiastic, and send out a couple of things to them and ask them, do you prefer A or B? Get a poll going. It's great for engagement anyway. Brilliant fun over the summer when things are a bit quieter and you stick out like a sore thumb when you talk about Christmas. So it's brilliant because you can do it in a really fun, playful way, but just get that opportunity to get that feedback. And once you've got that little bit of reassurance that it is resonating, that it is talking to your customer base, then you can go in comfortably and know that you're going to hit the mark. It's about deepening connection, using the opportunity to go further and reassure your client that they're in the right place. You're not trying to suddenly become something you're not, for sure. And it's not about jumping after fads. I think there's a real confusion. We use the word trend so liberally these days. It's so easy to get kind of confused. And I certainly was guilty of it before I delved into this world in depth. Fads are the kind of the fleeting representation of a trend. They're not the trend itself. The trend is emotionally led, it's culturally led, it's fundamentally led by us. And then there's the visual cues of that. So as I say, as long as we're looking beyond, thinking about exactly what our customer needs, and in so many cases, for so many businesses, that will align with our own desires out of Christmas as well. And in fact, if that is the case, that's brilliant, because then you can make it really come to life at a human level, which we know is really important at the moment, and connect with your audience just through sharing your own Christmas preparations, your own Christmas celebrations and desires and visuals, because they will match with what you're doing at a business level as well, on some level. I always talk about Christmas as it's redecorating without the need for commitment to wallpaper, right? So in some ways, we want to carry on the traditions that we've already done, that we always do, that come out year in year, and there's something really special and magical about that. And at the same time, it's an opportunity to do something that we would not be daring enough to live with the entire year, but we want to be able to enjoy for the Christmas for 1 month of the year, for the Christmas festivities. So it's that kind of interesting, heady mix of the two. And absolutely, it's a great opportunity to just be that little bit more expressive than you would normally be. So exaggerate what you're normally doing.
Hannah's 3-purpose framework, discoverability, memorability, purchasability, is useful because it gives you something concrete to do with the trend insight rather than just observe it. Whether your Christmas direction serves those 3 functions is a question you can actually answer about your own business. And the testing method she describes, polling your most festive customers this summer, costs nothing and tells you before you commit to a single order whether your direction will land. Which leads to the practical question: once you know your direction, what do you actually do with it?
It's using the trends to underpin the stories. You want to describe the Christmas rather than the product. So rather than putting all the cups together, you're going to create the cozy Christmas, or the Christmas for the 90s enthusiast, or the tinsel lover, or the Nancy Meyers movie lover. So it's merchandising in a way that you can show people how to build up their own Christmas from your products and make the products feel like the right investment. It would also be then using that storytelling to really explain why that product deserves to be bought. So provenance, why did you want it in your store? Why do you want to promote it? What is it about the story that resonated with you? Adding little gift tags, telling stories through posts, bringing the original design as close to the consumer of that design as possible. So as close to the person who's going to receive the gift, because there's so many different steps in the way. The closer we can bring that story, the more it will add to the story of the person who's receiving it. We all like to gift not the product, we like to gift the story.
Right?
So using the kind of the trends to give you guidance of what those stories might be and what emotions you're putting on. And then the last one I would say is just create those immersive experiences. So why not have like a festive afternoon tea and get out the china and have that Bridgerton moment? Or why not have that kind of tinsel party after hours and invite your VIPs, your super fans? I think people can be scared of the not including everyone, but actually we know that scarcity, that limited opportunity and access, they're really valuable tools. And so really leaning into that opportunity to create for a small group something that is engaged with, that's shareable, that people will really get excited about, and go to town with one of the trends and really bring it to life for your community. Things like a gift wrap corner, or I love the idea of putting a board somewhere in store. If you're talking about physical store, then putting a board somewhere in store where you ask people to add, put some nice cards out and add their memory, their favorite festive tradition. And then other people will then read other people's traditions. So much of the time we take inspiration from other traditions. The idea of encouraging your community to share that with each other. You could do it on Instagram if you're online, but you can do it in store. I think that would be really fun. You can share it on your story, so it's great content for you as well. That's virtually no cost. Or share a family recipe from your own Christmas collection in either online again or with purchases. And again, it's just that point of connection. It's just making yourself that little bit stickier in people's minds and making sure that you resonate and people feel aligned with your brand values, because that is so important.
The most useful shift from this conversation is this. Stop thinking of your Christmas marketing as a promotional phase. It's a relationship building phase first. The purchases come later, but only if you've built the right emotional connection during the research window. Hannah's work gives language to something most independent retailers already know intuitively but struggle to act on. Your customers don't want a beautiful product display, they want to feel understood. The aesthetic direction you choose for Christmas 2026 is a signal that you do. If you're planning your Christmas right now, and you absolutely should be, the question to hold is simple. Which of the emotional needs Hannah described speaks most directly to where your customers are? Not which trend looks nicest, not what the big retailers are doing. Which one is already in the DNA of your business and can be turned up for the season? And if you want to go deeper on aligning your stock, your marketing, putting together a promotional plan and a budget for Christmas, then check out Stock Doctor at stockdoctor.net to find out how a retail professional can help make sure you have the best and most profitable fourth quarter yet. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to like, follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts to be the first to know about each new episode. And why not come and say hi to me on Instagram at Resilient Retail Club and let me know what you took away from today's episode.